All right. We are now live. Welcome from around the world. Welcome to a special edition of the Ask a Swim Pro show. Just getting everything set up here. Thank you for joining in. Today we're talking about open water swimming tips. As you can see, I've got the beautiful open water behind me. So I'm going to go ahead and answer some questions. If you have them, let me know in the comments. Today, with a beautiful lake behind me. I'm in Grosse Pointe Farms, Michigan, Lake St. Clair, and we're about to go for an open water swim. But in this Q&A, we're going to do some open water talk. Let's talk about open water. But first, give me a status update on what the situation is like where you live. Let me know if the pools are open, if you have access to a lake, access to a river, ocean, sea. In this video, we're going to talk about a lot of those different things. So let me know what your current situation is like. Would love to see how I can be as helpful as possible. Hello, everybody. Hi, what's going on? Hi, everybody. So let's go ahead and hear where people are coming from, and then we'll get this thing rolling. Welcome from around the world. The pool opens next week. Hey, Paige, what's going on? This Q&A, we're talking about open water swimming. Let me know in the comments what your questions are. Going for a swim in the ocean this weekend. Nice. Excellent. All right. So let's go ahead and get some open water training tips out there. And in India, the pools will be open in September, maybe. Ooh, September. That's a long time from now. So hopefully you guys are staying fit and doing dry land and basically getting in your fitness, even if you don't have access to a swimming pool just yet. I'm going to adjust that camera. Let's see here. Hello from Greece. Hi. Welcome. Who else we have joining the party? Brian, I see you're joined on Facebook. How you doing? What's happening? And then we have our YouTube community. How is everybody doing? Go ahead and give me an update. Can you go swimming yet? Have pools opened where you live? And if the pools have opened where you live, what are you doing? How's your comeback coming? Let me know what's going on, everybody. I saw in your story when you're going open water swimming. Nice. Yeah, actually, fun fact. I'm going to give you guys a sneak preview. Hey, Will, what's up? So we went for an open water swim yesterday. We did a super sprint. Actually, I'll tell you guys a story. So if you see behind me right now, there's actually another pier. It's actually kind of getting cloudy. I don't know what's going on. Normally it's really sunny. It's a little cloudy right now. But there's a few different. That's actually Crescent Sailing Yacht Club. That's about 400 meters away from here. And then you can swim the pier that I'm at right now. On the other side of me, there's a beach. On the other side of the camera, there's a beach. And if you swim around that beach and then you swim around kind of this pier right here, you can't see it, but there's a pier. You swim around the pier and then you go to that right there. That is Crescent Sail Yacht Club. That's about 400 meters away from where I am right now. So that's a really good open water swim. And then sometimes we'll kind of go around Crescent Sail Yacht Club. It's a really tiny sailing club. And sometimes we'll go around the sailing club. And then if you do that, and then there's another street, it's another pier that sticks out of the water here in Lake St. Clair, and that is called Harbor Hill. So that's about 0.7 miles, so just over 1 kilometer if you do that route. And then if you come back, so if you go out to Crescent and then swim around the island and then swim to Harbor Hill and then back around the island without coming back, that's about 2.5 kilometers. So really, I'm very lucky to have this kind of open water environment. I know not everyone has that. Will has a question. At what temperature should you consider using a wetsuit? Hope all is well. Will, that is a great question. Take off your shirt. I will not be taking off my shirt for this video. That's a great question. The question was, at what water temperature is it smart to wear a wetsuit? When do you take off the wetsuit? So it really comes down to personal preference. But if the water temperature is anything below 70 degrees, which is maybe 18 or 19 Celsius, I highly recommend you wear a wetsuit. Anything over 70 degrees, you kind of get into this optional territory where having a wetsuit is like a nice to have. But if you're in the 75 degrees and you're at like 20 Celsius, you don't really need a wetsuit at that point because your body can regulate its warmth on its own, basically. Pool temperature might be 78 degrees Fahrenheit to 82 degrees Fahrenheit. So you don't really need a wetsuit at that point. Definitely, if you're open water and the water's above 80 degrees, you definitely don't need a wetsuit. That's actually too hot. You should not wear a wetsuit if you're above 83 degrees, 84 degrees Fahrenheit. That's just way too much. You should not have a wetsuit. Hey, we got some people joining the Facebook group. Okay, so I need to read these comments here. All right. After some time off swimming, how did your first couple of swims feel in open water? That's a great question. So I have still not swum in a pool for 3 months. And I got my first open water swim in about 1 week ago. And I had a wetsuit and I actually swam right here. So I'm going to back up a little bit so you guys can see where I am. So this is Lake St. Clair in Michigan. So I did my first open water swim right here. And my first day, I'm trying to remember how much I did I did about 1,700 meters. And my first 400 meters felt really, really good. Like I was swimming freestyle and like my technique was just so on point. Now, half of it was I was recovered and I had a wetsuit. So because I had a wetsuit, my body position was really, really good. But then I definitely felt the fatigue after about 400 meters and I started to feel a little sloppy. Like the biggest challenge for me personally, when I got back into the open water after not swimming for 3 months, was when I started to pull, my arm would just kind of fall flat. I wasn't able to get the high elbow catch. And the problem with not getting that high elbow catch, it's not as efficient. You want to have a more efficient stroke. And so I was kind of muscling through because when I in quarantine, when I was stuck at my house, I was doing a lot of pull-ups. So I was developing a lot of lat strength and I was getting really strong at doing pull-ups. But the problem is that's not the most applicable thing for doing the pull, right? So I would basically have my arm pulling in a flat, and that's not ideal. I was missing that high elbow catch. So I recommend if you've been taking a time off and you're getting back into the sport of swimming after taking a break, whether it's in the open water or the pool, make sure you're not muscling through the water. You might actually feel better in certain cases than you did before, but make sure that you're really getting that high elbow catch, and you don't want to sacrifice your stroke technique just because you haven't been swimming so long. So for me, the first 400 meters, I felt really good. But after I started getting tired, I felt like my arms were starting to pull in a straight arm pull, and that's not efficient. You want to get that high elbow catch. And so I really focus on that. And I've done about 5 or 6 open water swims. And now I really feel like I'm able to focus on getting that high elbow catch, but I have to think about it. And it's because I developed a lot of strength out of the water. And now all of a sudden I'm kind of coming back into the water and it's like, oh no, you need to have good technique. You can't just muscle your way through the water. So I highly recommend that if you guys have taken a break and you're coming back in, really focus on, you're gonna have to really think about getting that high elbow catch because your arm is just gonna like muscle through the water because you lost some feel of the water. So it's gonna take some time, but I will say after about 1 week, after about 5 swims, my technique feels way better, especially if I don't go fast. If I just swim like relaxed and comfortable, I feel really good, and I feel like I can maintain high elbow stroke really, really easy. It's not that difficult for more than 400 meters. Yesterday, I swam in open water swim right here. Actually, on the other side of the camera, there's a beach, and so I swam from there. There's a couple of buoys. The buoys are about 30 meters apart from each other, and I did a super sprint workout. So we never swam more than 30 meters. Or we swam 60 meters max. That's the most we ever swam. So we would swim 30 meters. We would like build up, take a break, and then we go 30 meters hard. And there was a wall, and we basically swam between the buoys. So just goes to show that you don't need, a swimming pool to get in a pool kind of workout. I do recommend open water, going for a nice long swim, focusing on good technique. But when we broke it up into 25 meter, 30 meter segments, we were able to focus on our technique, even though we were in the open water. So we were able to focus on that high elbow catch because my biggest problem, like I mentioned, when I took that break, I developed a lot of strength. I was doing a lot of pull-ups out of the water. And then all of a sudden I felt like I was muscling through the water with a straight arm recovery. So I highly recommend you focusing on your technique, especially that high elbow catch, keeping your elbow high, grabbing the water with your forearm, and then making sure you pull yourself through with good rotation. And I think you can do that in the open water. You don't have to do that elsewhere. What's up? We got Max joining. Chris, what's up? Andrew, what's going on? No fins unless big surf. Yeah, fins are okay in open water. I don't recommend them if you're a stronger swimmer. All right, let's see what's going on YouTube. Kansas City checking in, where all the lakes are officially closed for swimming, but my pool is open. Kate, that's good to hear. Hi from Greece. Andy is saying my practice starts the 8th of June. Okay. Yeah. Your videos are helpful in teaching students online dryland. Excellent. If you haven't checked out the My Swim Pro app for dryland training exercises, please check them out. Which device do you have most accuracy? Apple Watch, Garmin, etc. deciding between the Apple Watch and Garmin. How do you preserve your wetsuit? Okay. Stroke technique. Great. Okay, so there's a few different questions out there. I'm going to answer them the best I can. Oh, look at the bird. Wow, I have a short attention span. Okay, so the first question that I saw was about, or that I'll answer, is about wetsuit maintenance. Care of it. These things are expensive, and you don't need to replace it like a technical racing suit in a pool. You don't need to replace it every single day or every single race you do or after a season. You can actually keep a wetsuit if you take care of it for multiple swims, multiple seasons, like multiple years. You know, it's very realistic to have a wetsuit that can last you, 5 to 10 years, unless you wear it like every single day all year round, then it's probably not going to last 5 to 10 years. But you can definitely take care of your wetsuit by, number one, when you put it on, don't rush to put it on. Take your time. That is the most important thing when you're putting on a technical racing suit or taking it off. Take your time to put the suit on and put it off. If you're interested in some videos on how to take a wetsuit off and how to put a wetsuit on, check them out online. We have them linked. DM us if you want to see that. But it's really important that you take your time so you don't overstretch the fabric. Because the biggest problem, if you guys put on a technical racing suit for the pool or open water, the hardest part is getting it over your hips, right? So you put the wetsuit in, right? You put your feet in, and that's easy. And then it's taking your time to pull it up leg by leg. And then once you get it over your butt, your hips, that's the hardest part, then it becomes a lot easier. So I recommend pulling from the inside of the suit. Try and avoid pulling on the outside. That's actually how you tear the suit a lot easier. So number one to making a wetsuit last longer is to take your time putting it on and taking it off. And when you take it off, make sure afterwards you take care of it. So if you're in the sea, you want to wash it with neutral water, so fresh water. If you're in a lake, that's less relevant, but you want to wash it out with a hose, and then don't let it dry in the sun, because the sun will actually dry out the material of the wetsuit. So it's really important that you keep your wetsuit in good shape, and make sure you take your time putting it on and taking it off, and then wash it, rinse it after you swim, and then let it hang to dry. But try not to let it hang in the sun, especially for a long period of time, because if it's in the sun is going to dry out the fabric and it's going to kill the life of it. So after it dries, then put it in a mesh bag, and then you can take it with you wherever, and then it's ready for the next swim. So highly recommend taking your time to put it on and off, and then rinse it out with fresh water, and then do not let it sit in the sun for like a week. Same as your swimming equipment in general. If you have your fins, for example, and you leave them outside in the sun, most likely they're already going to be sitting, if you're swimming outside, in the sun while you do your swim workout. So you want to avoid having them in the water as long as possible, or in the sun as long as possible. Okay, that's a question right there. And then there's another question about smartwatches. So the question about smartwatches. So I'm wearing an Apple Watch right now. My Swim Pro app is compatible with the Apple Watch, Fitbit, Garmin, and Android Wear OS. So if you want to track your swim in an open water setting, highly recommend the Apple Watch Series 2, 3, 4, 5, and above. So anything over the Series 2. I think with the Garmin smartwatches, just make sure you get the right model Garmin, because some of the Garmin watches don't actually have the GPS feature. If you're doing an open water swim, like the open water swim is not an option. You can only do pool swimming, which kind of defeats the point if you want to go for an open water swim. So make sure you have the right smartwatch technology, because it's kind of a shame if you spend a few $100s and then you can't actually use it for the intended purpose. So I highly recommend those two specifically for open water swimming, because you can get the GPS map, you can see how far you went. Wouldn't it be cool, like if I'm telling you guys, all right, we're gonna go for an open water swim and we're gonna swim to that island and back, and then it's a sense of accomplishment that that you swam 2,000 meters. Actually, to be honest, I don't know if you guys were on the live in the beginning, but I mentioned just how far it is from here to that island. That's Crescent Sail Yacht Club, and that's only 300 meters away. So I don't know if the perspective of where I'm standing is good, but that from where I am all the way to Crescent is only 300 meters. So definitely important to track your distance and make sure you know how far you're going. Gives you a great sense of accomplishment. All right, let's see some more questions. All right, questions. Let's see here. Instagram blowing up right now. I like it. Okay, YouTube, a lot of questions coming in on YouTube. Here we go. I am from Morocco. You are very helpful. Mansoul, thank you. All right, Neil says, I agree about the Garmin Swim 2, overpriced. Yeah, so if you guys have questions about the different smartwatches and everything, make sure you check them out. Leave them in the comments, and we'll do our best to reply. Okay, I feel more powerful from the dry land and even faster when I swim. Excellent. All right, so when pools reopen, do you reckon swimming with multiple belts and tethers to help return to indoor club swimming? Okay. Hello from Paris. Bonsoir. Comment ça va? Okay, we are going to talk about swim tethers. So this is if you have a pool in your backyard, you don't have access to a pool or open water setting, and you're looking to get that workout in, but you don't have anywhere to go, but you have a pool, so you can get something called a swim tether that allows you to do stationary swimming. Also, if you have an endless pool or a master spas, something like a whirlpool that can give you current, that's a great alternative. If you do, so two things to keep in mind if you're doing either of those, either a tether or you're swimming in a whirlpool, endless pool. So technique, kind of like I mentioned with open water, is super important. It's actually very easy to muscle your way through the water if you're swimming on a tether. You know, when I'm talking about that straight arm pull down, you don't want to have a straight arm pull down. You want to have a bent arm recovery. And by having a bent arm recovery, you're going to get the most efficient stroke. When you're swimming in a backyard pool with a swim tether, if you pull, it's very easy to just try and like muscle through the water because you feel like you're working and you're definitely getting resistance and you're going to get tired, but it's not really the best technique. But you won't get the right feedback because if you're attached to a tether and you're immobilized, you're stationary, you're not moving, then you're basically going to try your hardest to get in a good workout. But that's actually counterproductive when it comes to doing swimming techniques. So if your primary goal is to just burn calories, yeah, I mean, just go swim with a tether and just do butterfly. You know, if you can do butterfly with a tether for 30 minutes straight, more power to you. It's not going to help your performance in the pool though if you're swimming with a poor technique. So it's really important that we think about that high elbow catch. It's also really important that you find structure. So it's okay to swim for 30 minutes continuously with a swim tether or a master spas or an endless pool. However, I highly recommend breaking it up because when you break it up, you're going to allow yourself to do those segments where you have really good technique, take a breather, really good technique, higher intensity, take a breather, really good technique, even higher intensity, and then take a breather. Kind of like the example I gave where, you know, just yesterday I did the super sprint open water workout. I was here in the water. There are two buoys set up about 30 meters apart from each other. And, you know, my friend and I, we were swimming back and forth. We would alternate different strokes. We'd go like backstroke, freestyle. We'd go breaststroke, freestyle. And by mixing in different strokes and breaking it up, we were doing these on like the 2 minutes. We were getting tons of rest, but it allowed us to maintain good technique. And most importantly, we were having fun. That's the key in all of this. You know, guys, this is really fun, but it's actually starting to rain right now. This is kind of crazy. It's supposed to be sunny today, and I got to take off. It's getting dark, but I don't know if you guys can tell. Look at the ducks. They're so cute, but it's starting to sprinkle. We might have to cut this live a little bit short, but let's see if we can answer a couple more questions before we get poured on. I'm currently outside. All right, let's take a look here at the comments. All right, let's go to Instagram. I haven't been giving you guys enough love on Instagram. Are there specific trainings for open water? What's the best temperature for swim training? Hello from India. Do you prefer wetsuit, stretch cords? Okay, good. Good questions on Instagram. Okay, let's answer them. Let's answer the first one here, talking about like open water specific training. So the really good question, when we're talking about open water specific training, so like if you're going to go out in the open water, right? So we're here at the lake, you know, whether it's a lake, an ocean, a river, whatever. First thing you want to do is you want to survey the scene. There could be a current, and you might not be safe to swim in certain locations. Also, there might be watercraft, marine life, you know, sharks, depending on where you are. So number one is to survey the scene. And then once you figure that out, you want to have a game plan. So if you, like I mentioned, you know, yesterday, my game plan, my workout was a super sprint workout. I was really focused on doing really, really short distances with really high technique, really high focus. We were mixing in the strokes. You know, that was yesterday. The other day, you know, we were going distance, endurance, focused on swimming, you know, long stretches without any break at all. So we would go 300 or 400 meters at a minimum without taking any break at all. So, you know, if you look at where I'm standing right now, so we would swim from here to the beach at that island, and that's about 300 meters. We would do that in one shot continuously. Because the focus was endurance, we were not really focused on, you know, we were focused on technique, but we weren't really trying to take a lot of breaks. It was more of an aerobic workout. And we knew that before we got into the lake. So it's not like we decided, oh, what are you feeling today? We knew that we were going for 2.5 kilometers. And as a result, we were able to structure what we were doing more effectively and make the best use of our time. It's also a lot safer because we were not really thinking about, oh, you know, what if we go over here? And we never charted out that part of the water because, you know, there's a lot of boats out there. Most likely, wherever you're swimming, there are going to be boats. There might be people on jet skis. There might be people in, you know, kayaks, canoes, stand-up paddleboards. And it's really important that you're visible. That's why I also recommend wearing an open water safety buoy. It buckles around your waist. and then it floats behind you. You can stick your phone in there, wallet if you want to leave your stuff on the beach. You put a sandwich in there, eat your peanut butter and jelly sandwich. PB&J, I'm going to do that in one of these videos. I'm going to have a peanut butter sandwich in my open water safety buoy and then just pop it out and eat it mid-workout. So I highly recommend open water safety buoy. When it comes to doing a workout, you got to plan that out before you go out into the open water. How much age can it start with? Fins. Hello from Dubai. That's a great question. So you can use fins in open water. I don't know if your question is focused on open water pool swimming, but you can really start using fins at any age. You can be 4 years old and learning how to just kind of developing your swimming. Definitely have the right coaching and supervision if you're on the younger side, or you can be 74 years old and you can start using fins. I highly recommend shorter fins. So there's three kinds of fins. The first fin is the short fin, and this is something that's only 2 to 5 centimeters longer than your foot. These are the best for swim training, right? If you're trying to get better at swimming, you're trying to do an aerobic set, or even if you're trying to go fast, shorter fins are the best. Then you have longer fins, and this is something you see when someone goes scuba diving. These are only good in the pool if you're training the underwater dolphin kick. And that's similar to the third type of fin, which is a monofin, which is where both of your feet are together and you can really work on that underwater dolphin kick undulation. So those are the 3 kinds of fins. You can use them at any age. I highly recommend using equipment to amplify your swimming. It'll help you improve your technique. You get more muscle engagement. I really love fins for that reason. Important consideration when we're talking about fins, and this applies in both the open water and in the pool, more so in the pool, you should shoot for about 50% of your volume or less with equipment. So if you're thinking, okay, so I'm in the pool, if I swim 2,000 meters 3 times per week, 6,000 meters, try and shoot for 50% of that or less with equipment. Sometimes it'll be more, sometimes it'll be less, but on average, 50% less. I would say the same thing in open water. Don't get too used to swimming with fins. Now, if you want to go 100% with fins and you're not going in the open water without fins, I guess that's fine, but you want to be careful because what if you lose your fins? And if you're dependent on the fins in the open water, you could be in trouble. So I highly recommend that you do less than 50% of your total volume. Now, you could do a full workout with fins, and the next day you don't use fins at all, and you change it up. You do shorter stuff. But if you're trying to go for a longer swim, maybe it's, you need a little bit more help, use the fins, but don't use them every single day. And that applies for both in the pool and in the open water. So I hope that discussion on fins is helpful to you. Hello from Sri Lanka. Hello from Washington. Hello from India, from Hong Kong, from France, from Morocco, from, where are we from? Kansas City, from Seattle, Washington, from St. Louis, Missouri. What's going on? Hello from Anaheim, California. Wow, it's really early. What time is it in Anaheim, California? It's 7:26 a.m. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, fins are great. Okay. Hello from Hungary. Sia. I'm not saying goodbye. In Hungarian, if you say Sia, that's how you say hello. Just a fun fact for everybody. Hello from Germany. Hello. Sarah, why did you delete your message? Okay, so let's see on Instagram. Hello from Brazil. Hello from Portugal. Shout out to the crowd. Oh, we got a lot of questions on Instagram. Wow, I have not answered these. Sorry. Best temperature to train in. Good question. So the best temperature to train in is somewhere around 78 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Talking like 23, I believe, Celsius in that territory. If it's any colder than that, it's really, unless you're doing open water, long endurance swim, it's going to take out your ability to breathe efficiently because your lungs are going to get tight in a shorter distance. So that's why it's good to have a wetsuit if you're open water swimming. The water is under 70 degrees. And if the water is over 82 degrees Fahrenheit, that's too hot. Your body is working too hard to cool. You'll burn more calories, but your heart has to work harder to cool your body and replenish your muscles with oxygenated blood. So definitely want to be at about 78 degrees. Thank you for the questions. Hello from India. Hello from Tempe, Arizona. What's going on, Paul? Hello again from India. Hello from Egypt. Ezayik Intikwaise. All right, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode of the Ask a Swim Pro live Q&A talking about open water swimming. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're doing open water swimming, let in the comments. If you have any questions, make sure you DM us. If you have not already subscribed to my Swim Pro on social media, I'm talking YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Get on TikTok, guys, and follow My Swim Pro. Also, if you haven't downloaded the My Swim Pro app, available on iOS and Android, make sure you download, subscribe to a training program. We help you guys improve your performance and health both in and out of the water. So if you can swim in a lake like I have right here, it's actually getting a little cloudy and dark. I'm sorry, guys. I wish it was a little sunny. Maybe next week, next Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern, we'll go live again. And hopefully it's a sunny day. I'll come back in this same spot if it's sunny. So join us for the next live. Subscribe to the training programs. And I hope you guys are doing super well. Stay safe, stay healthy, and happy swimming. Bye, everyone. We'll talk to you guys later. See ya. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. See you, Facebook. We'll talk to you guys later. Hello.